job explaining it to me last year.
Francisco put in a request.
Jason?
Francisco put in for money this year as well. We had a request from them. I sent out to them. I don't think I brought the request with me. No, wait a minute. Right here. Here's the 2027 request. I think hers is the handwritten back there.
It's like that resolution doesn't have it. Oh, there it is. Yeah.
Presented that at one of our meetings.
Okay.
A while back, and
Here's all of them. What's our deadline on passing these?
Just table this, we'll confer back here.
And we can bring it back up in a minute. I need to close the public hearing. We're in a public hearing. I'll entertain a motion to close the public hearing. Jay Riley, can I get a second? I have a second. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right, public hearing is closed. Now I'll entertain a motion to table this to bring back up later in this meeting.
Make a motion to table until later.
I have a motion. Do I have a second? Bob? All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. All right.
So it's like it's for Center Township.
Jason, you're hot. I can hear you clear as a bell wherever you're at. Is he wearing like a body mic or something? That's impressive.
Don't know how to turn it off, sorry.
All of us shut ours off. Wouldn't hurt anyone.
I just had to have mine on because I was talking. All right, that is going to be tabled for a minute. We are ready for TIF. And I'm going to switch it back to me.
All right. And the real Matt. Live and back. Is he here?
I'm not on the schedule that I do. We need to vote on the salary schedule. I don't know if that's old, I guess that is new business that was about from last meeting, so I guess it's old business.
It's old business. I saw the email on it.
Do we get out there?
You might as well.
Let's go, Logan. Way to be ready. No downtime.
So we are voting on salary schedule amendment 4. This is just based off of Mike Cochran's presentation at the last meeting, asking to remove the deputy prosecutor and redirect that money towards the IVD attorney.
I make a motion to approve amendment number 4 of the 2026 salary schedule.
So a motion. Second. Seconded by Riley. Any? Yes. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0. Are we ready back there, Jason?
No.
Okay, perfect.
You know your mic or something. You're coming.
We do have the live stream fixed, though.
That's good.
Shall we move on? Go ahead and proceed with new business. He'll give us an update. Superior Property Holders abatement request, Brian Schmansky. Did I get that right? Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Good morning. Thank you for your time today. With me is Matthew Nix, CEO of Nick's company, and Jared Bale, pronounce it the right way, COO. We're here today to request the support from the county in the form of a real property tax abatement for the company's proposed $2.5 million expansion project, which is approximately a 20 to 22,000 square foot facility. Within the presentation that I handed out, there's some background on, again, who the Nix Companies is, the parent company of Superior Properties, as well as, more importantly, on slide 4, which talks about the proposed project. Again, they've got an existing tenant they're working on, and I'll let them answer any questions, but there's currently an LOI in place, and in order to get the current tenant to commit to the existing facility and this future expansion, that's where we're here to help with the property tax abatement, get that secured, and then they're able to move that forward.
So this includes the demolition of the existing building?
Yes, that's correct. There's an existing building to the east side of the main facility that will be demoed in order to put this new facility up.
And what's in that existing building as we speak? Is it operational?
It's dilapidated.
Nothing's operating out of that building.
Half the roof is.
So tearing it down is not affecting your business at all, is my
No,
question. There's nothing for your business in that building right now.
No,
So this would be an expansion of the business.
that's correct. Yes, yep. It's for them to grow their business and for us to continue to support them. I'll let Matthews speak to a little bit more about our tenant and what they have going on and why they came to us looking to do this and expand.
Yeah, give you a little backstory on the tenant here, Integrated Power Services. They're a nationwide or North American-wide organization headquartered in, I believe, Charlotte, South Carolina. They've been a long-term tenant of ours. They actually started out as a tenant in our Poseyville facility, and we worked out a deal with them several years ago to relocate them here to this Gibson County facility, and we now completely inhabit our Poseyville facility for our internal uses. I think an important thing to point out here is this Gibson County location for them is one of, I'm going to say, maybe 50 or 60 locations that they have. They don't have to invest here. They can choose any number of those other facilities to invest in their growth. Furthermore, they have a facility on the east side of Evansville as well that came from an acquisition they did. And it's my understanding, and it makes logical sense, that this expansion here in Gibson County could allow them to consolidate those two facilities into one. They're a nationwide company. They have no reason to have a facility in Vandenberg County and Gibson County. So they could just as easily expand in Vandenberg County and vacate the Gibson County facility, which I don't want that to happen as their landlord, and I don't think Gibson County wants that to happen either. So I think that's an important thing to consider here is that, you know, we often look at what's the job creation going to be when we do these kinds of things. Of course, expanding is going to create jobs. I can't speak on behalf of them how many that will be, but what I can tell you is it could go to zero if they leave. So we would love to support them. They've been a great long-term tenant. You know, they're going to continue to inhabit our existing facility. By expanding for them, we're not only creating this facility, but we're also guaranteeing that they're going to stay in our facility for another 10 years. That's 10 more years of jobs, high-paying jobs, right here outside of Princeton. What they do is they repair electric motors, very large electric motors that come out of steel mills, power plants, things of that nature, oil refineries, and it's high-paying, high-skilled, high-paying jobs that they employ here in Gibson County.
So currently there's 10? Is that what you just said? I'm sorry. 10 jobs?
No, it'd be more than that. I didn't speak to that.
I'm sorry. I thought I heard 10 come out of you there a second ago.
Yeah.
I think there's about 30.
30? Oh, 10 years. My bad.
Yeah, they're going to sign a 10-year lease. This expansion is going to come with a 10-year lease agreement from our tenant, not only in the new facility, but renewing a 10-year lease in the existing facility.
So are they staying in your current facility, or will they
That's right.
completely move operations?
No,
They'll run out
they
of
will
both.
continue to inhabit our current facility. They want us to add on to facilitate their growth.
We can't speak to any job growth at this point. I mean, it's an assumption, but there's nothing on the table.
Yeah, I mean, so they're going to go from 48,000 square feet, and they're going to add another 20. So I got to believe they're going to grow headcount. And as I said, they have a facility in Evansville It's my understanding that they would prefer to have one facility. So I think Gibson County stands to be the beneficiary of that, or, you know, perhaps it could go the other way if we don't step
So
up.
we're gonna move the Vanderburgh County to Gibson.
That's, I don't have that in writing, that's my understanding. It seems logical to me if they're adding on here and they're not adding on there. Not to mention Gibson County is a little more business-friendly county, so.
What's the ask here? What's the ask?
And with that, the last slide there too, just gives an overview of the tentative timeline. So again, the company would like to move forward with demo, you know, here in Q3, construction Q4, and then be up and running next year, if all goes well.
What are you seeking? What
What's
kind of
that?
terms, what are you seeking?
For an abatement, the abatement request was for a 10-year standard, 10% declining. So
10-year what?
10-year, 10% declining. So it starts off 100% abatement, 90, 80.
And at the end of 10 years, then there's, their lease will be up, so they may end up moving out, or they're gonna be asking for another abatement at the end of 10 years.
Well, I mean, so the abatement is only pertaining to this new 20, let's just call it 20,000 square foot facility. So when that abatement runs up, there's no re-abating that taxes. But ideally, you know, we see growth of the next 10 years here, and maybe there's future opportunity down the road for more space.
So Nick's owns the building though, not the tenant.
We do. Yeah,
Even if
that's
the
correct.
tenant leaves, Nick's still here and they own the building.
Yeah, we're still gonna own the buildings after 10 years. Obviously, our intent is gonna be to continue to, you know, serve them and give them the space and the facility that they want to do business here. But should they decide that, you know, that they're gonna do business somewhere else, we're still gonna have the operations, and obviously our intent would be to fill those, to continue to have operations working out of them, so we can lease that space.
And are they pretty confident that if they don't get the abatement, they're not going to move in, they're gonna move to Evansville then? Is that?
Well, we're financing the build, so the abatement is a means for us to help finance the build. You know, so we are fronting 100% of the cost to do the build. So yeah, them moving into this is contingent upon us building the building for them. And we're seeking the abatement as a means to, you know, help offset the financing.
If you don't get the abatement, then you won't be building the building, is that what you're?
It will certainly make the financing much more difficult. So we're hopeful that you guys will support our growth here. And, if not, yeah, I don't know. We'll have to try to start looking at Plan B. But
So typically and historically, the council, I mean, I hope you weren't coming here hoping for us to act on this today. Okay, good, because if you want to vote today, I'm fairly confident what it would be. We have a lot of questions. We're going to work with our assessor very closely and match numbers just to see what this looks like. So probably next month's meeting, we'll probably have, I'd hope to have an answer.
Do you have employees there now?
The tenant has employees there
Right,
now.
but I'm saying.
Yes. Nick's, no, we do not have any employees there. Superior Property Holdings does not have any employees there now, currently.
And I'll just say, if you'd like us to ask them if they would be willing to provide a estimate of employee growth over the next 10 years that this facility would
Well, that would
perpetuate.
definitely work in their advantage if we had that number for sure. 0 employee growth is what we're looking at right now, and that doesn't help your case. So, yeah, for sure, that number would help us.
Yeah.
And have you got with Kim Beadle at all?
I'm sorry?
The assessor, have you got with her at all to where we can have some, because,
We have not, so we've been working with Tammy.
yeah.
Next step is definitely with Kim, because that'll be my first phone call on this too. I'll drive her nuts for the next 30 days.
Yep, no, I mean, that the plan was today for the intro and
Yeah.
come back.
Thank
next
you for
year.
that. Yes.
I just trying to move along here, because just to be honest, so far, if she's not good with it, we're not good with it, so.
Okay,
so.
That's kinda where we're at. Not to throw her under the bus.
I want to reiterate that if we don't expand for them,
Don't move.
if I'm them, I'm gonna go where somebody will expand for me.
Fair enough.
So you're talking about employee growth, but remember, there's 30 employees in this building right now, and that number could go to 0. So it's not good for you, it's not good for us. So just keep that in mind.
Absolutely. Yeah, if they could throw any potential employment growth numbers to us as well in the next 30 days.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
All right,
Appreciate it, guys.
Thank you.
Make sure you get with Tim, and then make sure you get with Mike to get on the agenda for next month.
You ready, Jason?
Yeah. We're ready to proceed. We can, act on this. I've confirmed that there's nothing in the publication that would specify the amounts. So the grand total does not change.
All right, I'm gonna reread these numbers for the record then, for the resolution, and we're good on the resolution, we're good on the public hearing and everything there.
You're good on everything, correct?
So, Patoka Township now receives $221,141. Union Township receives $179,006. White River Township Fire Territory receives $36,367. Center Township Francisco Fire receives $26,313. Washington Township receives $24,366. And Owensville Montgomery Fire Protection District receives $140,179. Tom, I know this is the first time you've seen it, so there's a chunk of money that we can isolate and give out. And we've come up with a figure of everyone that's eligible comes to the table, and then it's broke down. Phyllis, correct me. Population served and square mile, like here's a figure we all came up with.
It's real property assessed value.
Real property assessed valuation to break the percentages out, so everybody gets a fair piece of the pie. So that's where those numbers came from. It, they had to be eligible. Obviously, Francisco's eligible. You all have agreed that they're eligible to receive this payment.
Correct.
We did close the public hearing on this already.
So we just need to vote.
I will make a motion to accept the resolution presented to us for the lift outs.
Second.
We have a motion from McGraw, second from Riley. Any discussion? Questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Jason, guys, thanks for
7-0.
correcting that so quickly.
Yes, and thanks Phyllis throughout for
Does that have
all
a
your work on
resolution
this.
number on it?
It does not have a number on it.
For the resolution.
Not yet.
Thought I saw that too.
Jason?
Jason, do you have a resolution
Did I
number?
send you, I sent you the number, didn't I? Is it 7?
I think that one's gonna be 8.
8?
7 is the one we're doing.
We need to go to the.
So just look it up, 8. You gave me 7 for.
Is that all the, everybody that's
We don't sign
eligible?
It's asked.
That's applied, did everybody eligible apply this year?
Is everybody that is eligible, have they applied this year, is that everybody?
Should voting nay, opposed? I've never seen that.
Okay. Because last year, wasn't there somebody that didn't apply that couldn't apply?
Was it Center Township last year?
Oh, okay. He put his on the wrong side. It's a column. You're on both. So you just put the page. Everybody was an aye. Make sure you stay on the aye side.
Commissioner Lewis?
I'm here to give a report from the commissioners on a
That's what-
TIF request that we made last night to the RDC. The request was made for additional funding to complete the new animal shelter building, which currently sits at about 70% complete. So there are things that have to be finished in order to make it safe and be able to occupy it for the animals. I will give you a list of the, I won't go through the boredom of reading everything. I'll print this out for you all, but basically it was a request for an amount not to exceed $200,200. And that is based on availability of funds through the RDC. And it was approved last night unanimously, for us to move forward with finishing the building. The money will be controlled through the commissioners and the RDC. It will not be given to the ME Corp., which is who did the first construction project. So we're gonna control the funds to, finish it out and make it ready to move in. So, any questions or?
Yeah, the ready to move in part, where are we at with that?
Well,
Obviously, there's been a lot of talk, and we've had a lot of phone calls that we fielded ourselves, so.
projected completion would be December 1.
Yeah, not that, like, the whole process, the whole thing, the whole gamut. Can we speak to it at all, or
Can we what?
speak to it?
Yeah, we can. So the external's pretty well done. It's internal things. They ran out of funding. So none of the walls,
We're talking about two different things. I'm talking about operations. Who's running it?
okay, so the county will be hiring a director.
Okay,
And the county director will do procedures and policies. The county will assume control of the building, including all utilities and maintenance. And then we'll work in conjunction with either one or multiple volunteer organizations for animal care and additional fundraising for support. We're wanting to take the building out of their realm. They need to focus on the animals. We need to take care of the building. It's a huge investment, and we want to make sure that the building gets taken care of. So we're going to separate those two things.
but the county is taking over operations of Gibson County Animal Services.
In conjunction with volunteers, yes. The county director,
Volunteers will work it, but we'll dictate how it's getting worked.
the county will do the policies and procedures as to how it is
Is that
run.
fair to say, Jason?
Right? Yes.
Before did we have I don't have paper here that I thought that before they said that the facility was like 95% completed and that it just needed a few paint and things like that. Now we're saying it's only 70%
Yes.
completed.
That was a very inflated, estimate on completion. None of the interior's painted, none of the floors are finished, no baseboard down. In several areas like the dog run area and the cat room, there was no sink or anything provided to wash bowls, litter boxes, all that. Actually, my stepson and I were out there Saturday and jackhammered a place in the floor to be able to tie into a drain so that we could put a sink. The kennels that they ended up going chain link, we're looking at putting some kind of solid divider for animal safety to keep cross-contamination from going from pen to pen and all that. Camera systems haven't been installed. Oh, what am I missing, Jason? He ran away and hid.
So the county is gonna take control of this money and make sure we complete it correctly.
Yes, sir.
And then when we start operating, we're going to have the director under the county's supervision.
That is
County
correct.
employee, commissioners will direct that.
That is correct.
That's correct.
So what do you need from us today on this TIF money? Do we have-
Nothing, just
Just an update.
Oh.
just giving you an update and telling you where we're going.
Appreciate you answering all my directed questions.
Yeah. I mean, if you want to give us something,
Yeah.
take it, but,
Thank you, Chuck.
okay.
Jason, do we have Matt Eckerly ready to go? Yes. See. Matt, can you hear me?
His audio is going to come through this.
Okay.
If he's got anything to present, it'll be on that screen. Matt, can you hear us? I can hear you. Okay, give me just a second. All right. Hopefully I'm pretty clear. Can you guys hear him back there? Yeah.
I can.
It's not
coming out here.
Well, I was gonna switch it to the Bluetooth over.
Just leave your glasses, Jason.
Okay, Matt, can you say something?
Yes, I can.
Yeah, but you're echoing. Now say something, Matt. Yeah, I'll just move this device over. Is that distracting to anyone? Say something, Matt. Testing 1, 2, 3. Matt, can you hear me? Matt, can you hear me? Yeah, if you want to do, are you going to do a screen share and then I'll stop talking and just let you take over? It's up to you. Yeah, go ahead and do so. Okay. Sounds like they've got the printout, so a screen share might not be necessary.
We have looked at kind of 5 different scenarios, including the baseline of the establishment of this new Toyota allocation area. I do want to emphasize that to date, what has happened is that through the adoption of the confirmatory resolution last night, the allocation area is established. We'll work to get everything recorded properly with the state. But at this point, there is no obligation of Gibson County to anything, even to capture the assessed value or to issue any debt payable from the allocation area. You've simply created the tool, and now the county can initiate negotiations with Toyota for the issuance of bonds that can be then used to fund the infrastructure requirements. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in a minute. So the 5 scenarios that we've illustrated, scenario 1 is baseline. It's 2026 certified tax rates, property tax levies, net assessed values for the various taxing units. Scenario 2 estimates based on the assumption that the allocation area was established and that 100% of the eligible project incremental assessed value is captured. Scenario 3 is similar to scenario 2, except it assumes that 50% of the eligible assessed value is captured. Scenario 4 assumes that the allocation area is not established, or at this point you would terminate it or choose to pass through. 100% of the eligible incremental assessed value would actually be added to the property tax base of the overlapping taxing units. And then scenario 5 is a scenario that illustrates the impacts of a declining schedule of assessed value capture. What that means is that in year 1, the redevelopment commission and the county would capture 100% of eligible incremental assessed value, year 2, 90%, year 3, 80%, so on and so forth until you get to a 0% capture in year 11. So it's analogous to a property tax abatement schedule, except it's being applied to the capture of incremental assessed value. Does that make sense to everyone? Hearing nothing. I'll move on. I want to talk about, next on slide 4, I want to talk about first the interaction of assessed value or of TIF with the overlapping taxing units. And then I'll talk a little bit more about the assumptions that went into this analysis, some of the key assumptions. What's important to note when you're talking about the interaction of TIF with the overlapping taxing units is that it really happens on the assessed value side of the property tax equation. What's happening is the redevelopment commission is capturing all or a portion of the new assessed value generated by new development, and that the resulting property taxes generated from that new assessed value that's captured are allocated to the redevelopment commission as tax increment or TIF revenues, which can be utilized pursuant to state statute, including pledging to the repayment of bonds. If that assessed value is not captured or a portion is passed through, what that does is it increases the property tax base, the net assessed value of the overlapping taxing units. What it doesn't mean is that if the TIF is capturing $100,000 of revenues, when the TIF allocation area goes away, that's $100,000 of new revenues that would then be divvied up among the taxing units. And really, Gibson County is a great object lesson for that, because with the expiration of the original Patoka Union Township TIF allocation area at Toyota, at the end of 2025, heading into 2026, you had hundreds of millions of dollars of assessed value added to the property tax base. But for example, the county taxing units property tax levy only increased by that 4% maximum levy growth quotient that's dictated by the state. So what really happens, and the way I like to describe it, and I know you guys have heard me say this before, talking about other projects, is that really the better way to think about it is, if the project is paying $100,000 of property taxes and it's not captured in the allocation area, that really represents $100,000 less that other taxpayers have to pay to fund the collective property tax levies of all the taxing units. That assessed value growth is really putting downward pressure on the tax rates because you have a larger base over which you're levying that relatively fixed levy amount. New assessed value does not necessarily beget new revenues. There's some limited exceptions there, but really that's the general rule. In terms of this specific project, we've been working with the Toyota property tax team to develop estimates of what the new development will generate in terms of assessed value. Now, the numbers that we chose to outline this in the presentation itself really represent kind of midpoints or averages, or in the case of the personal property, the maximum depreciated value. The real property is assumed, the new real property is assumed to be constructed in Union Township, and the Toyota folks worked with Kim, the assessor, to develop what they felt to be reasonable estimates based on, preliminary construction plans, is my understanding, and, application of Indiana's property tax assessment tables. As I'm sure all of you are aware, the state really dictates how real property improvements are assessed based on, state adopted guidelines and cost tables, and so those were applied to those preliminary plans. I'm not sure if Kim's had the opportunity to go out and look at the facility as it's being finished out, but these are what everyone felt to be reasonable estimates at this time. For Patoka Township, based on information provided by Toyota, that's assumed to be all of the personal property investment, the equipment associated with this project. And this represents kind of the fully depreciated value. And what's important to note that for personal property, in Indiana, we use a true tax value basis where really the assessed value is a set percentage of the reported acquisition cost of the equipment. And so what happens is, for both real and personal property, we see the public announcements of what the investment amounts are. We don't really know what's going into those announced investment amounts. Some of that could be capital and, accessible real estate improvements or equipment. Some of those could be soft costs. They're really announcing, here's the all in. And then with real property, it's often assessed at some, fraction of the full spend because of those Indiana assessment guidelines. And then with personal property, you've got to account for depreciation and the true tax value approach that Indiana takes. So, these were all provided by Toyota. We've not been in a position to, fully review all of the input assumptions, but based on historical experience with Toyota, we do find these to be reasonable. But obviously reality will happen, and we'll see how it plays out as the project is finished out and comes into full operation. For the rest of the analysis and evaluating the impacts, we're holding all else constant. The only variable that we're changing is the Toyota assessed value and the pass-through or capture percentages that I discussed previously. And again, we're basing everything else on 2026 certified information as provided by the county and the Department of Local Government Finance. One other thing to note that has been a discussion point through this process is that the state changed the law a few years ago, and at that point in time, what happened is that fire territories established after January 1 of 2024, the tax rates associated with those fire territories are not eligible to be captured for TIF purposes. And so what that means is that the Fort Branch and Union Township fire territory, which is a new fire territory, those tax rates are not included in the TIF calculation, and the fire territory will be seeing any immediate benefits from the new assessed value generated by the Toyota project, in Union Township, whether or not it's captured in the TIF allocation area. I know there's been a lot of discussion of public safety, and it's important to note that the fire territory will see the immediate benefit of that assessed value, regardless of the TIF capture percentages. So moving on, I'm going to focus on the bonds piece, and then I'll step back. Again, there's a lot of impact information regarding taxpayers, regarding the other taxing units, which we feel is very useful information for everyone's reference. But I want to focus on the debt piece, and we can end it there, and I'll get to why I'll focus on the debt piece here in a moment. So what we've been asked to look at by the Redevelopment Commission are really three different debt scenarios. One based on 100% revenue capture or assessed value capture, one based on 50% assessed value capture, and one based on that declining capture scenario that I outlined. And it's important to note that in Indiana, TIF bonds have a maximum statutory life of 25 years. TIF allocation areas have a maximum statutory life of 25 years from the date that the first obligation payable from that TIF is incurred. So what that essentially means is that the clock starts ticking the day the bonds close. So if you issue bonds yet this year, you will actually not be capturing any TIF revenue in 2027 because pay 27 is going to be the base assessment year. So what you essentially would have access to are 24 years of revenues. And then with the declining capture scenario, we're accounting for that kind of gap as well. So that's why you got 24 years and 11 years. And then what we've also done is modeled these TIF bond illustrative values, and they're based on the assumption that Toyota would purchase the bonds at a favorable interest rate. And this is in line with recent history with Toyota. I think most recently was 2015, where Toyota purchased TIF bonds, but they've also purchased TIF bonds at favorable rates at other points historically. So we've made that assumption here. And it's important to note that that is now what would be negotiated with Toyota, the terms of any TIF bond issuance. And we're estimating that The 100% capture scenario for maximum term would generate about 27.7 million. The 50% capture scenario would generate about 13.3 million, and the declining capture scenario would generate about 12.2 million in bond principal. Now, a couple things to note with this is that one of the nice things about TIF as a tool is its flexibility. These are three scenarios of what could happen, but really at this point in time, the county can look at, okay, what are our funding needs? And there was some discussion of this at Redevelopment Commission last night. And what is the best scenario that we can pursue that meets the financial objectives of the county to fund necessary infrastructure, but also, and this has been a frequent conversation, how can we set this up so that we can maximize the benefit to the overlapping taxing units and to Gibson County's taxpayers on an accelerated basis? And what we've been talking about and what was talked about a lot last night is that kind of declining capture scenario, and that might have to be modified somewhat to fully fund, I believe, the Princeton utility needs. But you now have the ability, as those financial needs come into sharper focus, to map out, okay, is this going to be, 100%, 90%, 80% for 10 years? Is it going to be, 100% for 2 years, 75% for 2 years, 50? Really the world is your oyster. Last night I said there's a lot of ways to skin the cat because we had been talking about the animal control building earlier. But you have the flexibility to build out a financing structure that meets those goals and ideally accelerates that benefit to the taxing units and the taxpayers, funds the needs. And then what happens is that would be negotiated with Toyota as the bond purchaser. And then all of that would be codified in the documents that authorize and execute the bond issuance. Earlier I said nothing has been obligated, nothing has been committed. That is now where you're at, where you're going to be negotiating that. And then there will be actions taken by the county council to adopt a bond ordinance, the Economic Development Commission to hold a public hearing and pass bond authorization documents. That's the entity of the county that this gets executed through. And then also at the Redevelopment Commission level to pledge the tax increment revenues to those bonds that are being issued by the county. And in those authorizing documents, that's where, and these become contractual documents, that is where the county council can provide direction, and then through the execution of the Redevelopment Commission and others on, okay, we only want to capture assessed value for, I'm just going to pick a number, for 15 years, and we want it to be a sliding scale of capture so that the allocation area is terminated at the end of that bond term. You would define all of that in those authorizing documents, and that you would be voting on subsequently after kind of defining the parameters, which we would work with Ice Miller, we would work with Jim McDonald as counsel to the Redevelopment Commission, and we'd work with Jason Spindler as counsel to the county to set all of those parameters. All the documents would be drafted, negotiated with Toyota, and you would define the limits of that obligation, negotiate a bond purchase with Toyota, and then execute. Sorry, was there a question? There was a question. I heard a little bit of feedback, but I wasn't able to make out what it was.
No, they were.
I'm getting feedback on your end. I can hear something, but I can't make out.
Matt, you're good to go. No questions.
I can't hear you, Jason. I see your lips moving.
No questions, Matt. You can proceed.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, and really that's where I wanted to kind of cap it off is, I know there's been a lot of discussion locally about how to accelerate the assessed value benefit to the overlapping taxing units and to the taxpayers of Gibson County. And I also know, based on what Dean Rogers from Wessler presented last night, that we're closing in on having better cost estimates for the utilities improvements. So what we'll be able to do once we have that, clarified, those amounts clarified, we'll be able to plug in and develop scenarios that aim to capture those mutual benefits. And then it would all get codified by this body and other bodies of the county to actually execute on the obligation. So as of right now, all you've done is established the tool locally that can be leveraged to fund these improvements. And now almost the real work begins to set up the appropriate structure that meets these goals. And then the policymakers locally, including this body, will take the votes to set up those formal structures as you see fit.
I do have a question. Can you hear us?
Can you hear now?
I can hear you now, yes.
Once we come up with a scenario for the funds, and form a contract, are we gonna be able to change that in the future? Or is that something that'll be set for the whole 25 years or 11 years or whatever initially it started for?
That's a great question. So the bond documents, generally speaking, when those all are executed and the bonds closed, those could only be modified with the consent of the bondholder. So that would all be written in, and you could write other provisions into those agreements on other actions that would have to be taken. But generally speaking, it would have to be something that Toyota, if they own the bonds, would sign off on, and then obviously it would have to be approved by local bodies as well. So there could be modifications in the future, but there's a process that would be defined to execute those modifications. It's not something where a single group of people or a single entity could unilaterally act to modify those agreements. There would be prescribed processes there, and that's something that can be defined a little more clearly by Heather, bond counsel, once those documents are starting to be drafted. So if there are specific avenues that you would like to see taken to execute any modifications in the future, that's when you would do it.
Are you able to hear me, Matt?
Yes, I can hear you.
So I guess, I don't know how we're gonna deal with the echo, but am I to understand though that this is, you're talking about the bond issue being able to be set, you had 11 years in there, but I think for purposes of what Bob's asking, that would pertain only to that particular project, correct? Like in this case, if it's the utilities for Princeton, that initial bond issuance would be drafted to be able to pay for that. And then in the future, as revenues flow through and were captured, they would be used for other expenses similar to how they have been previously, the same kind of process. But then again, in the future, if another project came up that required some sort of capital investment and a bond, we would go through this process again.
Yes,
basically, probably, yeah, but
yeah, it would require additional public actions. You wouldn't have to, take actions relative to establishing the TIF area, but any sort of future modifications to, if in the bond documents you say, okay, a minimum of X amount of assessed value needs to be passed through each year, and that's something that you guys have done in the past, actually. What would happen is if you needed to modify that in the future to capture more revenues, to fund additional projects, that would have to flow through a similar public process. So right now, what you'd be codifying is, okay, here's the terms of these bonds, of the capture, and it's to fund these projects. And so if you wanted to operate it as you have previously, it would take affirmative public actions to go through that process, and votes by the council, votes by the redevelopment commission, and so on and so forth.
Thank you, Matt.
Are those all the questions?
I believe so.
All right, well, I look forward to continuing these discussions. I appreciate the opportunity to present virtually. My kids go back to school tomorrow, and they appreciate getting to spend a little more time with me while they still think I'm cool. So have a great day, everyone, and please let me know if there are any other questions.
Thank you, Matt.
Bye.
Jason, you ready to go on?
Yes. The animal shelter? Yes, or not animal shelter, I'm sorry, this is the health department. So you need to pass, and you should have a copy of the resolution there in front of you. This is just expressing an interest in acquiring that property, which it's located at 116 North 8th Street. I've got the property card here with me if anybody's interested in seeing it. We're gonna have to have 2 appraisals, and your resolution authorizes that. That's actually already in the works. This has been before the commissioners. Commissioners have approved it. This is being funded by ARPA money, exclusively by ARPA money, mostly by ARPA money. Any questions?
Is this gonna be the same as, and before as? We'll take over whenever they vacate type agreement, whenever they get there.
This one should be a lot faster to get into.
We do have an arrangement with the potential seller where they're gonna reimburse us for the cost of one of the appraisals. And our appraisal cost is what, 2,000?
And that, the one we're getting will be back by noon today, so.
They did. Okay. That's why that was agreement was.
The purchase. Where's the additional funds coming from after ARPA funds is out?
The HFI funding.
HFI
The 10% that I had. from last
So the
year.
funding's in place,
Yeah.
but we just can't move forward on anything until we pass this
I have to
resolution.
get the appraisals, yeah.
You're not asking for money. I make a motion to approve resolution number 7.
We have a motion, is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor of passing resolution number 2026-7, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? 7-0, thank you, Jason.
Thank you.
Stephanie here, Siren?
No.
No.
I do know that.
800
pole is-
radio project?
Yeah, that pole is broke that she's looking for. I think she talked to the commissioners about it, but I'm here for me. I'm asking for 6 Motorola APX Next radios. This will replace 6 radios that were purchased during the Indianapolis Super Bowl that occurred in February of 2012. This is one of those radios. There are no upgrades available for this. It's a first generation 800 radio. Because of the no upgrades, we can't use Bluetooth microphones. We can't use encryption, which we got with our big upgrade with the dispatch. These older radios can go into the detention center. What these new radios can do is they're GPS enabled. So if I would get, well, let's just go back to the triple homicide back in 2006, whenever I got lost in Pike County. If I had this next generation radio, dispatch would know exactly where I'm at, even though I was probably a mile away from my car at that time. It can use 800, it can use cell towers whenever 800 isn't available. So if I wanted to go to pick up a prisoner in Florida, I could talk to dispatch on the radio and say, hey, I'm on my way back. Whereas right now we're landlocked in between the 3 towers around Gibson County. So this could be used anywhere in the United States. There's no dead zones. when it eliminates the site trunking thing. So what site trunking is, when one of the towers goes down, we have to go back to our high band radios, which is what we used prior to 2012. The new radios are compatible with our body cam technology that we already have and get upgraded. So what happens is our body cam and our microphone will actually be tied in together on these new radios. There's the body cams that we're getting, the upgrade that's already part of our package, can interpret 37 different languages on command, which improves officer safety. There's no wired mics, so there's no strangulation opportunities. And the language translation improves reaction time to ambushes. So what I'm asking is for 6 APX Next 800 radios at $62,525.88. And then I've attached the proposal here with it.
So you're in between though with the rest? Who's carrying these that they're gonna get replaced, or will they
Deputies.
go up the line?
Basically, it'll start with the deputies. I won't get the next generation one until all the deputies get them. I'll be the
Then you
last one.
budget in our budget as well, your budget.
I did ask for three
Yeah.
ones, so it's something that we're doing along the way.
Trying to buy 20 at once is.
Got it.
Yeah,
gonna be
that wouldn't be a
astronomical.
good idea, because we'd have to replace 20 probably someday.
Fund balance and safety tax. Yeah. You good with the safety tax?
Yeah, did we do an additional?
We'll
or
have
is
to.
there-
No, we'll have to.
Yeah.
We don't have any equipment in the safety tax. There's money available for it in this, right? We'll have to do an additional, correct? I know we had equipment line, but I don't know if we've exhausted it, is my question. That's what I thought. I'll make a motion to advertise $62,525.88 out of safety tax.
Well, motion and a second. Any discussion?
Mike.
Mike,
How much was it? 62,000?
62,525.88.
You want me to go 63,000? You want me to, I'll amend my motion to 63,000 advertisement. Mike, I amended my motion to 63,000. Will you second? Okay, my bad, I know you love pennies. All right, now we have a motion in a second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0. Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. President, can we move back one item on the agenda?
Siren poll. Stephanie, go ahead.
So my name's Stephanie McKimmey. I'm head of the Gibson County EMA. She came to the commissioners at our last meeting in this siren replacement project. They have found a rotted pole in Oakland City. So we approved her to come to the board, the council, to request an additional $14,000 out of the safety tax to replace that pole.
Have we spent, Commissioner Burns called me on this as well, I mean, we have to put this pole in.
Right.
The money that we've allocated for this project, do we know I mean, are we gonna have overage or under, or do we know where it's at? Like, do we need to do an additional, is my question right now. Can we just keep moving with the project, and at the end of the project, figure out what we owe or don't owe? I don't know if it
can't
behooves us
answer
to
that,
do it.
but I don't see why that
We
wouldn't
haven't,
work.
we haven't paid $1 yet, right? Is it all gone? Is there $14,000 left? So I think we sit, and then, I mean, because
So
who
we
says
just
the next pole you don't replace doesn't need it as well?
Right, so.
Try not to
Well,
find it,
supposedly
but-
they've gone through and inspected all of them, and that is the only one they have found where the actual pole needs replaced. So we'll
Well, he
just.
called me and I spoke completely out of turn, and I was like, don't stop the project.
Okay, so we'll just move forward with the pole
And if there's an
replacement.
overage at
and
the
then
end,
if-
we
at the
have that
end-
understanding.
Okay. Thank
Fear
you.
enough.
That's great.
Oh, wait, I'm only one. There's 6 other people up here. You might want to talk to them.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's, yeah.
Is it feasible, are they gonna replace it with just a wood pole, or is it?
They're all wood poles, yeah.
Do they think it would be beneficial to come back with
Those have lasted 30 years or whatever. I think that's kind of the industry standard, Bob. I don't know the price difference. I know that's what was quoted. Yeah, it was a new wood pole.
I think we're good. What now? Did we hit everything?
Yeah.
Public comment?
Any other new business? Public comment? Yes.
Oh, yeah, we need to pay for that.
The demo?
Yeah.
Did you skip that? That was your only job.
He presented on it, but we weren't to that. I thought it was in an additional appropriation or something. Do we have additionals that we need to, you have these right here, do we not? Need to
Yeah,
go
we
through
need to
these?
go through those too.
Is it not in there?
No.
All right, so we need to pay for it. What did
All
you
right.
decide you wanted to pay for that?
I need to go through the transfers and additionals anyway. Right, even though, all right, we have personal service and out of series transfers. That's just the additionals that we talked about last month though, right? It's on there. Do we start with this one or this? Or are we looking at the same?
It doesn't matter. This is a permission to advertise. These are things that we're asking to advertise, and there's the poll.
But these aren't these.
No,
That's what I thought. I'll start there.
that's the ones that are for the resolution, right there.
Got you.
This is
For today.
today, and that's the new request.
All right, so we will start with the resolution that was advertised. In Gateway, July 14th. Does that resolution have a number? That was the reduction in appropriation. But that doesn't include these.
This has all been advertised.
I'm sorry if I'm being dense here, but this is,
The reductions are better.
Reduce, pre-reduce, and approved appropriation.
So,
and that one I've already passed on, maybe. This is, this one.
okay. Let me see that. These are the new ones, or these are the.
There's another resolution that's been passed
Okay, it's
down.
already
That
been
is
passed.
what's up.
Send those down back. I thought they were just the minutes.
No, there were two of them like that.
No, there's the only two I saw were the minutes.
Here's one. No. I passed two down for signature. There they are.
Yeah, but they were both minutes.
Oh, there were?
Yeah.
Here's that.
Yeah, these are both minutes.
I wonder if one of them got stuck in there.
No, that's a minute.
Okay.
Just use that.
So the additional appropriation, sorry about that, one of everything we've ever seen, so. Okay, we'll start with the, additional appropriations that were advertised at the last meeting. 1,200, supplemental public defender, amount requested 25,000, amount approved 25,000. 2502 prosecutors deferral user fee, 40,000 capital outlays, 10,805 requested, 10,805 approved for advertising. 4015 collection agency fees, $1,681. Gibson County Safe Kids, the 4105 fund, $3. 4905 Casa Superior Court, capital outlays $5,184, and the HAVA grant 8115 $2.
These have all been advertised.
These have all been advertised.
I make a motion to approve.
We have a motion to approve the additionals advertised after the July 14th meeting. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions, comments, otherwise?
Yeah.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? 7-0, that one's
Going that way.
taken care of. Then we had, advertising for a reduction in appropriations resolution, which we're typically for. And that was from, prisoner reimbursement, firearms training, sex and violent offender administration, cost of capacity grant, problem-solving court, sheriff law enforcement training, county corrections, K-9. There was a total of, it's a little tricky here, 25,000, 15,000 here, 12,000 in problem-solving court, 61,800 in county corrections. I don't remember the story behind this, why? To make it work, okay. So, advertising for reductions, we'll entertain a motion to approve.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Riley,
Don't get to save money very often.
any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Same sign, that carries. Then we can talk about, advertising from 1169 local road and street, account number 36301 road equipment, for $50,000, the A5 road grader, emissions issues and hydraulic pump, rebuild, 18,500, BC4 tractor rebuild transmission, 25,303, CB1 flashing bracket and mechanical seat accessories required, not an initial purchase cost, $6,400. That's coming from local road and street. Does anybody have any questions for Mr. Holden?
Yeah, so basically with those big expenses that we're not planning for in any way, shape, or form, we're not gonna be able to make it through the year, so we're wanting to get additional appropriation to cover those to make it through the rest of the year.
Fund balance is good.
You what?
Fund balance is good.
Yes.
I make a motion to advertise.
Second.
We have a motion and a second by Riley to advertise. Got Tom on the second?
Yeah.
Attaboy, Tom. Sound just only travels so quickly. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? 7-0. And then today, personal service and out of series transfers, from, make sure I get it. Yeah. From jail corrections officers, taking $10,000 from corrections officers, from part-time, from dentist, from shift supervisor, a total of 24,000 that's gonna go into overtime. From UHP part-time, 30,000. From sergeant into UHP part-time, 30,000. From corrections officers into overtime, 20,000. From sergeant in this county sheriff's budget, into part-time, 30,000. In the jail bedding limit into utilities, 5,000. In 1222 statewide 911 from communications officers into part-time, 5,000. Also from that same fund, 1222 statewide 911 from communications officers into overtime, 5,000. And then from 4012 K9 supplies into 4012 other services and charges, $252.61.
We need a motion to advertise.
I'll make a motion.
Ah, come on, it's not like the time.
We approved those, right?
I second.
Those are just transfers.
Those are just transfers.
Oh, never mind, they're not advertised, they're just to make a motion to transfer them.
Was there one that you read that in there that said move from one to another, then move that to somewhere else?
No, they were both out.
No, they were both out of the same fund, that was.
Okay,
Yeah. It was, he read it wrong the first time.
okay.
I read it
was
wrong the
like,
first time.
well, my bad.
So Tom, was that a motion to approve the transfers?
Bob did.
Bob did?
We need a second now.
Need a second.
There we
That's what I
go.
thought. I knew I heard him. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Sorry for muddling through those. Does that get you everything?
The jail one.
Huh?
And then we gotta pay for the jail too.
Is that on here?
No,
How much is it?
we did it last. What's our final bill? George? 1.3? 1.3 million.
1.3.
What's the jail tax?
Yeah, that's what we discussed at your last meeting.
Can't, you didn't advise, we take it directly out of there.
Can we not?
No.
Why?
It's February and August that we do that payment. So we've already paid that for this year. We get $201,000 per month. So setting at the end of July. That payment, I don't know if it happened. Yes, it happened. Okay.
Will this be done and paid for before the end of the year?
The building itself would be tore down because they would start, if you would approve it today, they'll start September the 1st or 2nd. And then the only thing that won't be done will be the parking lot. And the reason the parking lot won't be done because these asphalt plants, they shut down like in November, December. You know, we won't be able to get asphalt in probably probably April, maybe March if it's warm.
That's part of the 1.3.
Yeah, absolutely. Mhm.
What is going on in edit fund? We do have a balance in there of 7.297.
So I mentioned to, I didn't talk to Nick about it, but I did, I talked about, Chuck, I may have mentioned it to you. Every year, you're talking about paying it out of jail tax. Matt Eckerly said that that's probably a gray area, whether we actually can. We could look into it, but we're legally obligated, or we're obligated by the terms of our bond issuance to set aside $550,000 in the edit budget annually in order to assure that property tax revenues would never have to be used to pay the jail bond payment. A couple of things happened during the process of building the jail. We had some timely pre-purchases of equipment that went up dramatically in cost. We closed the bonds out a week before interest rates took one of the biggest historical spikes ever. So we got it at a low interest rate. We had construction delays that allowed our money after the interest rates went up, and worked with the treasurer to get money invested at German American Bank and through the state of Indiana. We had more interest income coming in, but a whole lot of good things happened that have kept us from having to use that $550,000 that we've had set aside now for at least 3 years. So that's kind of been accumulating in the edit fund. If that's what you're asking about, is the balance being more than it's been in the past. I mean, I think we would usually run that at a $3 or $4 million balance. So I was hopeful that we could use this year's and hopefully even last year's that allocation of that $550,000 that we've set aside for it, for those payments, to fund the demolition of the jail, and that would be in the form of us making an additional appropriation out of edit. Would still leave the fund balance healthy, And then in the future, I think we should look at that every year and decide what sorts of projects we should use that money for if we don't have to use it to pay the bond. So
are you recommending we pay without edit?
I was gonna recommend we do around 1.1 million of it, and then the remainder we could do out of general or rainy day. You know, I don't think we have rainy day, but out of one of our other funds. I don't know what you guys think about that.
We got to finish the project, if that fund's available.
If we did 3 years, why don't we just do all of it out there?
We can.
Because we should have over
It's
1.5.
there. I mean,
1.3 out of edit, you go with that, Chuck?
I'll make a motion to advertise $1.3 million out of edit for the demolition of the jail.
I will gladly second that motion.
So if we're advertising it,
It'll be available in 30 days.
huh?
It'll be available in 30 days.
So I've actually got a bill from Garmon already because they were hired as the construction management team back a couple of months ago. So can we turn that in? And then the second question I got is, can we start tearing the jail down in September while the prices are still locked in? I guess that's my two questions.
She said the contract, yeah.
Hmm.
We got the money.
to go ahead and pay them.
Well, and turn the bill in for sure.
Okay.
We need to vote on the motion.
And Jay did ask, he talked about the delay in the parking lot. The 1.3 was complete parking lot,
So we're not gonna have all
finished,
that.
right, that whole.
Till next year.
And we do have a little bit of a contingency fund, just in case there's some crazy thing. You know, you're dealing with a building that's sitting in a city 200 years old, and as far as we know, there's not gonna be a problem, and hopefully, and if we don't end up spending the 1.3, let's say we spend 1.2, you would get, you know, we would obviously leave the 100,000 back in your coffer somewhere, wherever it goes. We just wanna make sure we don't have a problem financially down the road.
Okay, we have a motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
So, let's get started.
Tear the thing down.
Okay. Does that mean you're not gonna ask?
Not gonna ask anymore. I will never ask you that again.
Hey, yes, sir.
I'll find something new to pick on you about, George.
Motion adjourned.
We got public comment.
We
Have
I don't know
anybody
if
for
there's new
public
public comment. Larry?
I don't know, some of you guys are around, some of you wasn't, but I just wanted to remind you about, and I would be interested in knowing what's happening to the Economic Development Agreement funds, that you should be reading. I'm afraid you're gonna lose the extra 2.1 million, according to the minutes here. May 11th, 2021. I actually think that the numbers are not accurately presented at the meeting last night. Is very conservative. The question is asked where these numbers came from, like $42 million of real property tax assessed valuation. That sounds like it's extremely low. When Stacy Carr said that's a $500 million battery plant. So I think these numbers that we're talking about, it is going to be skewed, and we was trying to eliminate the uncertainty for the next 25 years at 100% capture, and so it's going to be that. Several months ago, for several months, I kept on presenting ideas on how you could give a $10 million tax abatement to Toyota and not have to worry about all this $200,000 or $300,000 a year administrative fee. And so, anyway, I just had some questions on what this money is being used for, that you're supposed to be getting, and the possibility of losing the 2.1 million. Thank you.
I think that's consistent with the rate. I'd have to review my notes from when we did have that meeting with Tenaska. But the rates did come down similar to what they were projected.
But then more likely we'll go back up, so with the formation of the new TIF district.
That's absolutely incorrect.
We'll see.
They may go up, but not, the formation of the TIF district will not create any upward pressure on rates.
We will see.
No, and we'll go through them again, we can look at the property tax cards. That's not to say that rates won't go up, but we had a similar situation in Union Township this year. The tax rate came down for the county, came down for the township. There was a school tax rate that went up. Look behind you, see Kim nodding. The school tax rate went up. The fire territory got added. Tax rates went up, and people blamed the TIF district. It had nothing to do. The TIF district, whenever that closed out, there's no scenario where establishing a TIF district will put upward pressure on rates. It's not. That is what it is.
Look at this again, and see what actually took place. Anyway, Matt said last night that he had nothing to do at this illustration. He was just putting numbers together based on Baker Tilly and the assessors. Toyota and the assessor was supposed to have gotten together and got numbers. And I talked to him this morning, and that didn't happen. So I don't know what to believe, what numbers is going to be. All I know is it's going to be uncertainty for another 25 years. I'd be great if the tax rate didn't go up, if you guys could get you another 2.1 million, but no words.
In the present situation, the tax rate will be 1.7476. In scenario one, the present situation, 100% of the AV captured, 1.7476, the same. So I appreciate your effort on that. I do need to revisit, because we did have that with Tenaska. They were not aware that the TIF was going to expire. But I don't see in these notes specifically what the terms of that agreement were. Do you have? I don't. Yeah. Yep.
I think you're supposed to get 400,000 a year for 5 years from the time it started, and then 6 to 10 years you're supposed to get 200,000 a year, or 400,000 a year, or something like that.
Larry, you need to go to the microphone. It's not.
I see that. I just don't see where the cutoff is. I'll check. I'll look at the agreement itself. These are just meeting minutes. So appreciate it, though. Thank you for.
I just thought I'd bring that to your attention, remind you that you're supposed to be getting money.
Yep. Okay. Any other public comment? Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Thanks, Tom.
Mike Stillwell.
Yeah.
I need you. I need you